Hello, I'm Jim Piddock, and in this episode of the Eukanuba puppy training series, you're going to learn all about the proper way to feed your puppy, including the correct portions and the proper feeding schedule. With me today, I have Martin Deely, one of the foremost breed experts at Eukanuba, to help me fill in a few of the details. I may be a little fuzzy on, okay, a lot of the details. Hey Martin, how are you?
Hello Jim.
Good to see you.
It's good to be here, Jim.
So tell me, what's the first thing that I should take into account when feeding my dog?
Well, the most important thing, I suppose, really, apart from the quality of the food, and you've got Eukanuba, is the size of your puppy. They're small, medium, large breed pups, of course.
Now, what about the schedules? When should I be feeding my pup?
Well, people really should feed their puppies when it's convenient to them to some extent. You know, they fit in with your schedule. They're very adaptable, dogs. And if possible, though, I like to feed my puppy his meals at the same time we have an hour. So, first thing in the morning, later in the evening, if you might say, and probably one at lunchtime. It's got to fit in with your family. You're going to have
3 square meals, indeed. Now, when does that change?
Usually, and it depends on the dog, at about 4 months. Then you can begin to wean him down to usually about 2 meals a day. And I like it first thing in the morning and then later afternoon.
Now, what if you have a huge, big pup? Shouldn't you feed him more often?
Well, it means what you mean by more often. It's the little ones that you need to feed the most times. In other words, you might be feeding a little puppy of under 10 pounds 4 or 5 times a day, just small amounts, because his body can't take it.
But what about the size of the portion?
Oh yeah, the bigger the dog, then the bigger the portion. Check the feeding chart on the bag. Eukanuba put a very good kind of guideline on there for the portions. There's one thing though, remember when they say 8 ounces, it's not weight, it's 8 ounces by a measuring jug. It's very easy to make that mistake.
Now, what about people who are switching over from another brand to Eukanuba?
Do it in small stages. You know, it's quite easy to upset a puppy's stomach. So, although many breeders use Eukanuba, unfortunately not all of them do. And I know I've weaned puppies off of one food onto Eukanuba, and you don't change it all at once. What you really need to do is to change it in small stages. So 3/4 of the food the dog's been feeding on, a quarter of Eukanuba the first day, second day half and half, third day quarter breeder's food, 3/4 Eukanuba, and then boom, 4th day we're on our way again.
And would you recommend dry food or wet food? I know that question probably comes up a lot.
It comes up a lot, Jim, that one. I prefer dry food myself, I have to say that. But Eukanuba make a wonderful little tin of wet food, and if I have a fussy eater, I'll sometimes get a tablespoonful, make a bit of gravy, mix it in there, and that kind of thing. So if a dog has got teething, gums are a bit sore, or perhaps not drinking much water, I'll put the water in with the gravy.
Right.
And great. It's real lovely for picky eaters. It's perfect.
Okay, last question and the big one. Plastic or stainless steel?
I use both, you know. I gotta say, I use plastic, I use stainless. I tend to use plastic when I'm traveling. I use stainless when I'm at home. I find the stainless easier to wash and clean.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. It's more durable. The dogs can't chew it as much.
Yeah. Fantastic, Martin. Thank you so much again for joining us and sharing all your knowledge.
Pleasure.
Well, I know that was a lot of information to chew at one time. So let me recap with the Eukanuba 5 stars on feeding your puppy. But first, I'm going to feed little Henry. Henry, here you go, babe. Here we go. There you go. Yes, we were talking too long, weren't we? Rule number 1, it's all about a lean, mean eating routine. Set a scheduled feeding time for your puppy and stick to it every day. 2, here's how it goes down. Feed your puppy 3 times daily for the first 4 months. Then you can begin to wean him to 2 meals a day. 3, when switching your dog from breeder food to Eukanuba, I have just 2 words for you. Puppy steps. Do it slowly over a 4-day period. 4, a healthy diet is in the bag for your puppy. Sure, canned food is alright, but it should ideally be used strictly as a supplement. And 5, no table scraps ever, or else Martin will come and find you. This has been another episode of the Eukanuba Puppy Series. Once again, a big thanks to Martin Deely for stopping by. Okay, I need to go now. All this talk about food is making me hungry. Come on, Henry.